Tasty Nation, what's up? Our first trade of the day is live and happening right now. Quite a market we find ourselves in. This morning, it was quiet. Not a whole lot was moving at all. And then news hits. Yeah, the Treasury, US Treasury is buying 30-year treasuries. They're buying the bonds. Why? Well, we've been in a very long drawdown in the bond market for at least the last, what year is it? 7 years, 6 years now. Yeah, it's been about that long actually. But really, it's been since 2022. It's really been about a 5-year bond market drawdown here. And um, more recently, we have been seeing this correlation between gold and the bonds vary quite a bit over the last year and change. For a while there, it was very strong. I mean, anything above zero point 0.5 is pretty strong. And you can see a lot of times when it's green, that correlation has been together. But for the last year, it hasn't been able to figure it out. I mean, why? Well, we've seen treasuries fall, and we saw gold obviously moving a lot higher in 2025 in the beginning of this year. And then for a while there, they were moving together. And you can see basically over the last year, it's just we see some red, you see some green, you see some red, you see some green. There's been a lot of interesting changes in that correlation. But by and large, a lot of times when bonds are moving up, gold is moving up. In normal days, once upon a time, before all kind of headlines could mess with bond and gold, it used to be that when the stock market went down, bonds were being bought because of fear, and gold was being bought as well. And it's historically had a very positive correlation. It doesn't matter if it's 10-year bonds or if it's 30-year bonds. In this case, we're looking at 30-year bonds in the form of ZB. But today has been very fascinating to see that correlation come back into play. It is moving in the same direction today. They came out and said that they're going to be buying bonds. It sounds a lot like quantitative easing. That's right. You've heard the term before. It's when the government goes out and stimulates the bond market and tries to change what's going on in the economy, which honestly, right now, yields have been high in the near term, but particularly in the back term is where everybody's been focusing attention. Sure, the curve has been sort of steepening, if you will, but at the same time, it's all going higher, the whole entire curve. So, but in the back part of the curve, which is the 30-year bonds, let's keep it to bond yields for now. Those have been as high as 5.2%, almost 5.3%, the highest we've seen since 2007. And you've heard a lot of talk about that. And in no small part, it's been government spending. The other thing has been you've heard a lot of bond issuance from a lot of these tech companies more recently trying to finance further out projects. And so for that reason, there's been a lot of auctions, if you will, that have not really gone that well, meaning treasuries are getting sold, and therefore the yields are going higher. And that's what we've been seeing. And this really hasn't perturbed the stock market too much, but it's still something that is of note and something to keep an eye on. Kind of fascinating, by the way. I didn't even mean to go to Goldman Sachs today, but you can see the banks are down in this situation because, well, the banks make a lot of money at the short and the long end of the curve, right? And so this is not necessarily great for them. They usually lend money at a higher yield. In this case, a higher yield. They lend money out at the further end of the curve for those who are buying at those yields for housing, right? So, I mean, the bank is usually lending to you at right now, let's just say 5.3% for a 30-year yield, 30-year, mortgage, even though it's kind of tethered to the 10-year. But for this sake, just follow me. Banks are lending to you for your home at 5.3% for that yield, and then they're borrowing from you when you're putting in a bank account and a savings somewhere around, what is it, 3 to 4%, right? I think it's 4% and change for the 2 years. So, but this news is actually not great for banks today, even though the rest of the market seems to love it. The bond market in the 30-year yields definitely love it. As you're looking at a 5-minute chart right here, you can see what's been going on today. We can look at the 1 day, 4 hours. Doesn't matter if it's 4 hours 1 day. You can see a big move here. We were as low as 107 the other day on the 30-year bond, and now a big move to the upside. Touched 110s, only to fade. As Chris Vecchio said, we just might. But nevertheless, this is something that's in play. Now, the numbers that they threw around today, they're buying however many billion of bonds. I mean, that's a very small amount in comparative to how large trillions of dollars we're talking to the bond market. Nevertheless, it's the beginning of something, and it seems like it's something that's going to take place going forward, them buying 30-year bonds, buying 30-year treasuries to change how high the yield is. And as a result, we're seeing this move in gold. Now, gold is something I've been watching for a while. I already Did a trade of the day, I think, here one day where I talked about getting long silver. That was the first one I was fascinated in. And I think I kind of teased the idea that if gold could get through 4,500, it seemed to be a resistance level, I would jump in. And I wasn't lying. I mean, look at this line that I got right here. You can see it around 44.98. Look, starting on the 811, 812, 813, 14, 15, 16. You can see when I draw a line around 4,500, it may have come close to touch 4,500, but look at those long wick candles there. It just could not clear that level and stay close above 4,500. And so for that reason, I was not interested in getting long gold. But this news today changes everything. Changes everything. And you can see, by the way, gold is trading today. It's clear it's changing everything. So we decided we want to get long gold. Now, how do we want to do it? Do we want to buy the MGC? And this is something I think I talked about that day with silver. Similar deal. There's so many ways to do this. What's the way that makes sense for you? Do you want to buy MGC and just sit long a future? It's 2,900. You could do that. Again, for every move, it's basically $10. So a 100-point move is basically $1,000. And what are we playing for? Potentially, this thing goes above 4,600. I mean, I would say the next level to clear is exactly around 45.66, which we're closing in on now. From there, you get to about 4,600, maybe even a little higher, 46.86. Who knows in what fashion we get there? Is meaning, are we going to do another 100 and change on like we're doing today? I'm not exactly sure. But I think these are the levels that you could continually see, and it could be slow. And so the reason why I don't like buying a future outright and holding up the $2,900 in capital is because to make 1,000, I needed to get to 46 from here, let's just say, or say you bought at 4,500, you need to get to 46. You're halfway there. Depends on where you buy. But if I bought here, I just felt like it's going to be a slow grind, and every day I'm going to be looking at that future, looking at my potential gains, but where is it going to go? And it's just a harder way for me to conceptualize, right? So you could go to GLD. That's another method that we could go. Obviously, GLD options are fascinating. I mean, for those who are so inclined, you could buy stock too if you want. I mean, that's a lot of money. I don't think I would do it. I'd rather, if I do anything, I'd rather do options in GLD. But I didn't find a trade I love. I could have gone with full-on Super Bowl. And I thought about this. But here's the thing. Skew is almost always pointing to the upside in gold. And it is once things are acting normally in gold, which they have been again, skew is going to be to the upside. So I say this because it's going to be pretty hard to be able to find situations where you can, usually if you sell a put spread closer to the money in gold, and you buy a call spread that's outside of the expected move, which you can see here, this orange bar, outside of that is 450, just $15 wide, I'm already still paying for this call spread. And is it really going to 450? A 450 way up here when you're talking GLD, much higher than what we're talking about right now. A solid, 10%, right? Higher right now from where it is versus when we're talking about GC, we're not talking about another, if it's another $200, I mean, that's less than 5%. And that's the kind of move I'm looking at right now. I know it sounds small for gold because we've seen 10, 20, 50% moves. But right now I'm thinking about 3 to 5%. Where can I get the next 3 to 5%? And what's the best trade? So I decided to go with the GC options, which I really love. They're pretty liquid. And when gold is actually moving big, you want to be in the GC options if you can. You want to be risk defined. And so I decided to go risk defined. We outlaid some of the areas we were looking at, the next level being 4,650 and then potentially 4,700. Instead of going for the gusto and going for the 4,700, I went with the 4,625, 4,650. At the time, I was able to pay $7. I think I paid for this thing. Is that what I did eventually? Yeah, I think I did. I was able to pay $7 for this thing, and when we look at the curve, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. It's a call spread, right? Risk defined call spread. You want to be risk defined because this is a very big contract. And so, excuse me, let's do analysis here. GC, not G7. GCV, I think is my contract. Yes, there it is. And Again, just going with the call spread makes it a whole lot easier in this situation. And I went with the 46.25, so you can see, my break even to the downside. I paid $7 for it, so you can see to the downside where things could start to move. But again, the most I'm going to lose is what I paid for the call spread, which in this case is $700. Yeah, $7. So $700, right? So most I'm going to lose for this call spread. And it's a $25 wide call spread, right? And so the one thing you obviously want is to exceed both strikes. But here's the thing: I know I'm not going to realize the full value of this call spread at expiration. And so one of the things I want to be able to do, and the reason why I say that is because I don't expect it. I'm playing for it such that it doesn't go through all the way through my strikes prior to expiration. I'm not exactly sure that may happen, but that's why you pay attention to the P&L FIO. If I were to make like $1,000 off this trade and not necessarily make full profit, I could live with that, right? That's one of those things I could live with. So I know it's a lower pop trade on initial, but again, I'm looking at this as gold is making a stronger move right now. And here's the thing. We have GC in this, MGC in this right here. It's looking at the Z contract. My trade is in the V contract, which is trading 45.18. So that's an important distinction. You got to make sure you know exactly what contract and what gold price to be watching. In my case, it's the November contract, which is the V contract. So I'd love to see this above 46.25. You could take it to expiration, above 46.50 at expiration. That's where I make the most money. But I don't plan on holding this to expiration. I plan on reaping the benefits of the extrinsic value that this trade is going to give me throughout the period of the trade, probably within the next 10 to 15 days. It's a 33-day trade. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Hopefully it works out in that manner. So just a straightforward GC contract, GC call spread in the MGC, in the GC V6 contract, which is the November expiration. Looking to see a big move here over the next 2 weeks or so. We'll see if this momentum continues with treasuries being higher in the back part of the curve and gold following suit as a result, and oil also being down as well. So here it is, the 46.25, 46.50 call spread, a break even of 46.32 to the upside. From there, you could continue to see profits. And again, I'm looking at extrinsic profits more than expiration profits. Sorry if my trade was showing double what I was making here. The max you could make on this trade is $2,500 in this spread, and it's $1,800 is the max profit. Again, I don't know if I'll realize all of that. I may end up realizing $500 to $600 worth of that. And again, I bought this spread for $700. If this thing ends up being worth $1,400, that's a double right there. I can close this trade and move on. And the most I'm going to lose on this is what I paid for it, which is $700. So that's my trade of the day. The long GC call spread, looking for a continued move higher in gold, along with this recent news of the Treasury buying the back end of the curve, buying treasuries in the 30-year cycle. We'll see how this plays out.